Hi, this is Jamey from Stonemeyer Games, and I am here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in Legendary Encounters Alien. I played, actually in the last couple of days, I played a bunch of different new-to-me cooperative games, three that I'll be talking about in the coming week. And this is the first one, and this is actually my favorite one of the three. I've enjoyed all three for various reasons. They're all very good games. But I just had a blast playing Legendary Encounters, more so than I really even expected. It's a deck building game, cooperative deck building game for four players, up to four players, and you are basically playing through the Alien movies. So it uses the Alien IP of Alien, Aliens, Alien Resurrection, whatever all the future Alien movies are. I think I've only seen the first three. And the game does a really good job of incorporating the theme of each of those movies into that session. It requires a lot of setup because you have to shuffle in certain cards into the decks and leave out others. You have like a kind of an event card that you go through. Like you have to complete three different objectives in order that kind of follows the plot of that movie. But I thought the designer did a really good job with that. My favorite game mechanism of Legendary Encounters Alien is that I really, really love how the game encourages players to participate in each other's turns. And it does it in what almost seems so obvious that I can't believe I haven't seen it in other games, and I bet you'll tell me in the comments that it is in other games, other deck building cooperative games. But basically, there are some cards that have the word coordinate on it. And what the coordinate mechanism is, and I'm double checking my notes to make sure that is the right word. Yeah, coordinate. I want to say collaborate, but it's coordinate. What coordinate is, if a card has the word coordinate on it, then you can play that card on someone else's turn for that other person. Like if someone else say they're trying to buy something. There are two main resources in Legendary Encounters. There's a resource that lets you buy stuff, and there's a resource that lets you kill stuff. And if you have a coordinate card, and say one of your fellow players is trying to kill one of the aliens, but they don't quite have enough of the power or strength, whatever that resource is, to kill the aliens, you can play a coordinate card that has power or strength on it to help that player kill that alien on their turn. Maybe you really need to do it because there's a lot of tension in the game. The aliens are constantly encroaching, and timing is key of taking out the aliens or even just revealing them to see which ones they are. And what this does is it makes everyone just work together all the time. The only other time actually that I can remember that I felt this way in a cooperative game was playing Sentinels in the Multiverse, which is a cooperative superhero game where even though you can't help play other players on their turn, typically, I'm sure there are some heroes that do that, you do have an aspect of, like, if someone's deciding between two things, you might say, no, I've got this. You're looking at your hand of cards. Just wait, and I'll take care of it. But in Legendary Encounters, it takes it to a new level because you're really participating in that player's turn. You're actively helping them, and mechanically, it's not only sound. It's not only a sound concept because you're cooperating. You're making the game. You're advancing in the game, but also you might want to get that card out of your hand. Maybe you don't need that card as much as the other player, and getting it out of your hand lets you immediately replace it with another card that you might need more. So there's actually a certain advantage to using coordinate cards when it's not your turn, because you get to draw more cards. It's a really, really clever mechanism that just it made us all engage in the game throughout every turn. It never felt like there was any downtime at all. And we felt like we were really a team of people cooperating to take out these aliens. The one downside that I should mention, since we're talking about game design, is that in a deck builder game, there's a lot of shuffling. And so there were many times throughout the game where, for example, say I would take my turn, and then the next player would take his turn. And as he's taking his turn, that player might say, I could really use another power, to take out this alien on this turn. Does anyone have it? And the other two players might say no, and I'm still shuffling. So he's having to wait for me while I shuffle to see what my hand will be before he can make the decision on his turn. So that slows it down a little bit. I think there are many more modern deck building techniques where you're not shuffling as much, and those might be a better fit for this mechanism. But it wasn't a big bother because shuffling doesn't take that long, and the players still making decisions on their turn. They still have things they can think about while you're shuffling. But that's the one caveat to this mechanism. Otherwise, I'm a huge fan of this idea of coordinate, to the coordinate mechanism in legendary encounters. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on other mechanisms in cooperative games that make you actively engage in other players' turns while they're taking them. Actually, even just as I say that, I'm thinking of the Big Book of Madness. I think this was my favorite mechanism in Big Book of Madness too. They did a similar thing that was really well. Coordinate in legendary encounters seems more urgent because it's right away. You got to play it. You got to help them right away, or something bad's probably going to happen. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Thanks.